you guys. Welcome to our first episode of Money Talks for 2025. I am joined by Penny Ford from Brilliant Beyond Belief.
Well remembered.
Thank you very much. A bit of a tongue twister there. And we're going to be doing a webinar on how to thrive in 2025 and basically how to make 2025 your best year yet. But first, Penny, if you wouldn't mind, can you give yourself a little introduction for our viewers?
Well, first I want to say a huge thank you for welcoming me and inviting me to be here for your first webinar of 2025 and how to thrive, which is what we do at Brilliant Beyond Belief, where we work with individuals and companies to help each person get the very best out of themselves. So a little bit about me and how I'm here today. So my background is education. I always wanted to be a teacher. So I was one of those kids that knew exactly what I wanted to do, have my teddy bears lined up, and I'd have little pretend registers. And that was me. I got my plan. That was what I was going to do. But you know how life can go up and down and up and down.
Doesn't it?
That's how we know that we're alive, because it's literally like this, like your heartbeat. When I was 16 years old, I found out that I was going to be having a baby. So everything changed quite quickly. And it hit me. And I can remember looking at my baby when she was born and thinking, do you know what, I'm going to do you proud. And that was my driving force. And I believe that everyone needs to think really carefully about what it is. What's your driving force? What is it that makes you give the best of yourself? That's what I started to do. And I started to work with my business partner, Mahmood Mauji, and we now work from Brilliant Beyond Belief. And we work with individuals and companies, helping people to really find that potential within them. How to live the very best version of them, and how to take their lives to the next level.
You're going to give us a little bit of that today.
That's what I'm about today. So that chapter, every part of your life is a chapter, and I really, in every area of your life, whether it's career, business, relationship, family, health, I believe that we have this S curve. If we all understand that, it really helps. I'm going to explain this a little bit to you.
Please do.
So this bit is the initiation phase. So that bit might be, I bet you've all done it, you know, it's the beginning of 2025, New Year's Day, setting those goals of what I want to achieve this year. This is the initiation, when you're getting off the ground. We can all think of
going to the gym.
Going to the gym, or with our health, or with
I'm not going to eat any more bread.
Yeah, studying, anything. And that's where you start off. Then you've got the acceleration bit. And this is the bit that, in the moment, feels hard. It's the tough bits. It's the going to the gym. It's the studying. If it's the career, it's starting a new business or a side hustle. It's lots of exciting things, but it's hard. There's a lot of blood, sweat,
the grind.
And then up here is where we aspire to be. You know, when you're in that moment, you go, when I reach that, I'm going to be happy. When I reach that, when I've got that weight loss goal, or when I've achieved that saving goal, or when I've achieved that career goal, when I've got that university qualification or accounting qualification or any sort of qualification, when I've got that bit of paper, when I've made it, I'm going to be so happy. You ever got there? And you're like, oh,
Just a piece of paper.
that was it. Yeah. And even when you've if it's a health goal and you've reached that, you might put that dress on or that pair of jeans on, and it's okay for that moment. But the thing is, what question comes into your head?
What's next?
What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
And when we actually realise that the exciting bit, the bit, you know, when I was talking about where things go well and then they go bad, and then they go well and they go bad, they go well and they go bad, but you feel alive because you're living, you're pushing yourself, you're excited. So what we do with Brilliant Beyond Belief, and what I want to talk to you today about, is how to actually, when you're doing this S curve, is to make and extend the acceleration bit. So to really stretch that out.
Interesting.
So if you can stretch the acceleration bit out, that's the bit where you get that excitement.
Isn't that counterintuitive?
In what way?
So if you have a goal, why would you want to drag out the doing part? Wouldn't you want to hit your goal?
And isn't that what we've been taught all the ways since we were children? If you study, you get this. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But very quickly, when we get to that plateau, how do you feel when you've got somewhere and then you're stuck at that point? How does it make you feel?
I guess, as you said, what's next? You start looking for the next thing.
You feel a bit bored.
Yeah.
A bit stagnated. Like everyone, the worst feeling you can ever have is that stagnation feel, where you feel you're coasting and you feel you're drifting. Well, don't get me wrong. Yeah, we stretch that acceleration. There's always going to be a jump to a new S curve. And that might be when you are jumping to that next career point, or you're jumping to something completely different. But we really, really need to embrace that stretch. And what I mean by that is, we set goals that are achievable. We were taught this, needs to be smart.
Yes,
Measurable,
Can you teach me
achievable,
that?
realistic, But that's because we're taught from a really, really young age that your happiness comes from being right, from being good, and from being smart. Yeah?
Very true.
That's it.
Yeah.
But what about if our happiness came from how much we've learned? What if our happiness comes from how much we're growing and how much we're challenged? Because that's when you feel alive. It's actually in those moments that you feel that excitement and that adrenaline, not when we've got there. That's very short-lived. But the actual moment. So for this reason, when I'm setting goals with people, I set massive goals. Goals that I would say to you, there's no way. I can't do that. That's impossible. So say you've got a saving goal. A realistic, yeah.
I thought we were
So
going
choose the yacht.
unrealistic.
No, for a realistic goal, you might say, I'm going to save 20% more than I did last year.
Okay,
Is that achievable?
That is fairly achievable.
Yeah. Do you have to change much to do that?
Maybe have a few less takeaways, but that's not the end of the world.
A tiny bit of you needs to change, yeah? And if we're really thinking today about how this is going to be our best year yet, do you think a little bit of us needs to change or a lot of us needs to change?
Maybe a lot, the way you said that.
Maybe a lot. If we want to be the best version of ourselves, we need to reinvent ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean you become someone you're not. Your values, your integrity, that's still there. We've all got that. But the person we need to be to achieve this massive goal, which is double, say you want to, I'm going to say for a yacht. Now, are you going to be able to buy a yacht by the end of 2025? Is that impossible?
Maybe a little bit out of my reach. Maybe 2026.
Exactly. But if you're aiming for that, instead of the 20% increase, you're going to come much, 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 much further. Yeah. You're not going to hit that goal yet, but you are going to get much, much nearer because you're going to become that person.
So you're saying? No, actually, no. I understood what you're saying. Set a goal for the year that's completely massive because you know you're going to keep going, basically.
But what you need to do is to be able to embrace the behaviours of the person that's already got that massive goal now. Now, this is really hard to understand in our life when it comes to career or savings or family or relationships or any of those things. Yeah, in health, we do it all the time. Because have you ever tried to lose weight? Or do you know someone who has? Yeah, loads of people, right? Do you start acting and behaving like the person who's already lost, say, 10 kilograms after you've lost 10 kilograms? Or do you start doing it now?
There might only be one answer to this question. You might have to act like the person who's lost 10 pounds now.
Already, right now. You have to start acting like that person, whether it's exercising like that person, the food intake like that person, the movement like that person, the research about the nutrition like that person. You do it now. We don't wait. Going to the gym, the exercise routine, we do that now, as if we already are a person that's 10 kilograms lighter. Don't even think about that. It's a given. So why don't we do that with our careers or our family or our relationships? Why don't we start behaving like that person now? Not spending like that person. Don't be that you're not. but behaving.
For my yacht.
Yeah, exactly. So behaving like that person. If I just draw, I'm going to rip a bit of paper off here. I'm hoping it won't.
I just want to give a little message to anyone watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, in the chat, and we'll definitely get to them at the end.
Brilliant.
We'd love you guys to get engaged. Yeah. See, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's on the floor. Okay, so what I want you to imagine, right, is if you're going to start behaving, acting like the person that's already reached that wow goal. So you're talking yacht.
Yacht.
But behaving like that person now.
Yeah.
The person who can save like that or be able to make the money like that, what sort of qualities and types of behaviours would they have? So I just draw a little thick person of yours. Excuse my drawing. Okay,
That's
we'll
right.
just put some ideas about there.
I feel like he's very big head. Oh, no, it makes sense now. It's proportional.
What type of qualities
Does a man with a person with a yacht have?
Not the person that's got the ability to do that, the ability to save like that. What sort of person are they? What sort of qualities? What sort of behaviours do they possess? And it could be down to how they're looking after themselves, the time they're getting up, the books they're reading, the discipline they have, the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
What sort of bring a few?
Probably very business minded. Is what I'm imagining.
Okay, so what sort of person? What would they do if they were really business minded?
Be out here making money. That's what they be doing.
How would they be learning about it? How would they be thinking about it? So for people to be making more, serving more, having more impact, are they meeting lots and lots of people, or are they
networking?
Okay, so lots of networking.
Please chat, get involved.
Type anything in the chat. You know, what other things would they do? So networking more, meeting more people.
Planning more, planning ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Really well planned. They're organised, prepped, thinking about the week ahead, the month ahead, using that diary. So the night before, the week before, the month before, everything's in there. Everything's got its place. Everything's organised. Do you think they'd be doing it all themselves, or do you think they'd have?
Oh, maybe they'd have a team.
So delegate, being able to delegate.
Yeah.
I know to begin with, you might not have a team of people around you, but it might be that you use AI to automate things or to help you. There's ways in today's world.
That's true, yeah.
That we've got tools all around us to help us to be able to delegate, organise our life so we're much, much more productive and efficient. What time would they be getting up?
Oh, probably earlier than me, I imagine. Give them a 4 a.m. start. I imagine this person goes to the gym.
4 a.m. start. Okay, that's mega. That's a massive. I mean, that's a big shift.
But they also go to sleep at 8 p.m.
And early night as well, because sleep is important to function.
Yes.
Yeah. What else makes us really, really productive?
Healthy eating.
Yeah, absolutely. Nutrition.
Oh,
it's really putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, this is.
Anything coming in through the chat? Any other ideas of people that?
No. Anything from you guys?
Yeah, you guys, come on. So,
if you were going to own a yacht,
if you got that capability, you're already that type of person where you're able to be acting like that. How would you be acting now? Would that person be like? They'd be looking after themselves. So we've got nutrition, we've got sleep. They'll be healthy, exercising.
Yeah.
Going to the gym. Really, really organised. How often do you think they'd go to the gym?
At least 5-6 times a week.
Yeah,
5-6 times a week.
Yeah, good. Do they take time for themselves to reflect?
They probably meditate.
Meditate because they want to be peaceful and calm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, reflection time.
Family time.
Yes, understanding parts because what is the point? It'll be in there. But when they're with their family, they'll be really present. So yeah, they work really hard outside of that time, but when they're with their family, the phone's away. The headspace is focusing on what's actually happening right there in front of them. So they're present with their family. Yeah. So you're really quality. Might not be a lot of quantity, but quality family time. Excuse me, you wouldn't know I'm an English teacher by trade, would you? Quality family time. So they might have a PT, which granted we might not be in a position to right now, but there are apps that you can use where it will tell you what you need to do for. I mean, there's so much free stuff out there on the internet that we can use. So we've got lots of people coming into contact with. The mind is so important. You know, how many books would this person be reading? You said they'd be really good at business. You don't just become good at business. How do you do that?
Do a lot of research.
And it might be that they've done this by a side hustle. It might not be the career that they've got right now. It might be something else, something they're excited about, where they've realised that they can help others, teach others, make money from their passion. It might be that they're really good at using vintage. You know, any way that you can find a way to be making money.
Yeah.
And being really selective and having really good times with family and friends, but the rest of the time thinking and being thoughtful about where the money's going. So reading a lot of books, time for self-development, and really having an amazing, amazing money mindset. Yeah,
you would need that.
I believe that there's life over here and then there's life up here. Okay, you've got energy levels, so you can from 0 to 10, and most people want to be living life at 10. They want to be having the best version. I'm sure everybody on the webinar, you guys, we want to be living that very, very best version of ourselves, which is someone with a huge amount of energy, a huge amount of drive. Yeah, a lot of the time people stay over here where nothing changes. Why do you think that is? Why do people stay the same in the same zone?
Being comfortable, perhaps?
Comfortable.
I don't know, it's just easy.
Easy, you guys join in. Why do people stay in that comfort zone? Yeah, don't want to get stressed.
Scared of change. That's what Matthew said.
Yeah, scared of change, 100% scared of change. Do you know there's only two things that we are, or fears that we're born with? Any idea what they are? Might have told you before.
You definitely have, and that's why I feel a bit of pressure right now.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Two fears that you're born with, only two.
Loud noises.
Loud noises, that is one. Well done. Yeah, you're born with that fear. Yeah.
Loud noises and what would trigger the next one? It didn't.
Falling.
Falling.
There's
That's
only
what I. Yeah.
Every other fear has been learned. Every other fear has been learned, and usually between the ages of 0 and 7. Because in the time between when your brain is born, between 0 and 7, you're in a hypnotic state. So everything that you're learning, hearing, things that people say to you, you might remember when you're little. Everybody's there with authority, aren't they? Mum, dad, teachers, brothers, aunties, uncles, grandparents. They're all teaching you with authority, and it gets embedded into your subconscious. If I said to you, money is the root of all, what's the phrase? Money is the root of all, or money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, and money is the root of all. You heard that one?
Problems.
Evil, problems. Yeah. It's not that you believe that.
No.
It's not that I sent you a memo saying, "When we do this webinar, please say this." It's there in our subconscious.
True, yeah.
What does that mean? Money doesn't grow on trees. It's hard. Yeah. So our subconscious is constantly telling us that can be difficult, that can be hard. Why bother? And actually, when we do get money, money's the root of all problems, money's the root of all evil. Why would we want it? In our subconscious, that is pulling us back. It's going to stop you from making decisions, which I'm going to go on to in a moment.
So how do you overcome that then? If I've created my mindset 0 to 7, how do I get out of that?
It's a really, really good question. It's you. You've got to understand that you are in control of your brain and you. And I firmly believe in this country, not everywhere around the world at all, but in this country, there's so much opportunity around us that we are the masters of our own destiny. So it's every morning, and this is what, this person here, every morning they're going to start their day with the most amazing routine. When you start your morning, it's a great book by Hal Elrod called Miracle Morning, and it's how to absolutely put in a morning routine that protects you. Because things are going to be thrown at you throughout the day. Somebody's going to say something. Something's not going to go your right way. If you can create a morning routine that gets your head in the right space for a brilliant day, you're going to have a brilliant day. Have you heard of the RAS? You might have spoken about it before. It's the reticular activating system.
Use those words.
So the reticular activating system is the Google of your brain. It's your base of your brain here, top of the spine.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Google of your brain. So if you typed in to Google,
my brain is typing.
Absolutely, red cars.
Oh yeah.
What comes up on the screen?
Got a Ferrari right now.
A red car, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So when your brain is the same. So if you say you woke up and you hit snooze and you missed whatever, your brain's going, oh, it's gonna be a bad day. inside your brain, the RAS is looking for ways to prove to you it's going to be a bad day. Yeah, and if you've ever woken up and you've had a bit of rubbish sleep and you tripped over as you got out of bed and you couldn't find a pair of socks and those type of things, you're just like, oh,
Didn't have slippers and the floor was cold.
and it was awful. Today's going to be a bad day. And the more energy and the voice and the loudness that you put into that, more emotion, more likely the brain's going, oh, Penny wants it to be a bad day. I need to prove to Penny it's going to be a bad day. And you've had that, where you've woken up and then the day is bad.
Yeah.
How do we flip that? And it's really important. And this is something that I want to teach you. I want you to be able to teach your family. You can teach it to young people. It's amazing. Starting the morning every day, thinking about the things that you're grateful for. It's your attitude of gratitude. Now, I don't know about you, but every morning I always have a coffee. So I always flick the kettle on, right? And that will happen every morning.
Yeah.
It might be, you might have something else that everyone does. You might not be a coffee drinker.
For me, it's I let my cat in. I give her the morning stuff.
Oh, so as you're letting your cat in and shutting your cat and streaking, thinking about everything that you're grateful for, it's called habit stacking. So finding something you already do every single day without a shadow, and then putting the attitude of gratitude on top of that. So for me, the kettle boils, and as the kettle boils, I'm thinking about everything I'm grateful for. Down to I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I've got 2 arms, 3 legs, I'm breathing, I'm alive, my hands on my heart, I can hear, feel my heart pumping. If I'm alive and I've got air in my lungs and my heart is beating, I've got a job to do. I'm going to have a great day.
Yeah.
I've got great food in the cupboard. I've got a wonderful job that I get to go to, not have to, by language. I get to go to all of these things. And you start to think about that every morning before you've even gone out the house. Your brain is looking for the
I really
positives.
don't want to skip over that, what you just said there, the words that you use when you have these thoughts to yourself and you're being grateful. So what did you just say there? You said,
language is so important.
yeah, you said don't say have to, say you get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that.
So it's called, there's something called the flip method, and I can't go through all of it today because it'll take too long.
I just didn't want to go over
No,
it.
I'll go back to it. So
Yeah.
the first two, the F and the L. The F we've just covered is a focus. You focus on the positives, you focus on finding a solution, you focus on possibility, your brain will lead you in that way. It's an open growth mindset, possibility thinking, whatever you want to call it. The L for the flip method, this is literally how to maintain this energy and this positivity, comes for language. And the words we use, we throw around all the time, particularly in this country. We don't even think about it. And we say, oh, I have to go to work. There are people in this world that would give anything to get to go to work and earn some money. But seriously,
So true.
can you remember when your kids used to go, oh, I've got to go to school? The amount of children in this world who can't believe that we would want to throw that opportunity away because they don't have that. Seriously, some people in this world, kids in this world, aren't allowed to go to school or can't physically get to school, or their school has been blown up and no longer exists. And we go, oh, I have to. So really think about that language, particularly when you're an adult in front of your children. I get to go to work. They don't see it as a negative.
Yeah.
The other words we use, I think. Imagine your team leader walks in, goes, right, guys, I think it's all going to be okay this year.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh no.
Or your leader walks in and goes, oh, I know it's going to be the best year. The language, and constantly we're saying, I think, or just, even in a text, right? There you have a look at your WhatsApp messages. How often do you write, I just wanted to say? How often do you say, oh, it's just a job, or it's just me, or it's just, no. I wanted to say hi. I just wanted to. Not, it's just a job. It's a job. Yeah?
Yeah.
The word just belittles everything that comes after it, yet we use it all the time. The same with only. I used to go, it's only me. No, it's me. I'm here. I've arrived.
Literally. I've arrived.
But the words we use, and we don't think about it enough. You are belittling yourself every single day. And no wonder we feel a bit rubbish.
Yeah, I guess it sucks, doesn't it?
The other thing about maintaining this best version of you is, imagine you've got a mate and your friend said to you, oh, let's meet for lunch on Thursday. I'll meet at wherever. It's your favourite restaurant. I'll be there at 2. When you get there, Striker, not there. Compass, not there.
Where's my
Half
phone?
past, doesn't show. Yeah. Next week, your friend's like, oh, let's go to that gym class, that sprint class you want us to go to, let's go together, I'll meet you there. Get there. Doesn't time it.
It's a good friend.
Friend again, a really good friend of yours, best friend. Another thing again, to go to the cinema. You get to the cinema, literally, you watch that film on your own,
Oh no.
right? How quickly would you lose that friendship? Don't trust him anymore, you feel rubbish about it. How often do we say to ourselves, I'm going to get up at this time, and then we hit snooze, we hit snooze, we hit snooze.
You died so cold.
How often do we do that? How often do you say, right, I'm going to go and do this exercise class? Or I'm going to say, oh yeah. Or how often do I say, I'm going to do this money, I'm going to save this money, I'm not going to spend it on this. And then we let ourselves down, and we let ourselves down,
Yeah.
and we let ourselves down. Very quickly, we start to feel rubbish. We don't think, oh, it's me, I've let myself. We don't think about it. We just start to feel rubbish about ourselves because we've lost trust in ourselves.
Oh, that's pretty sad.
So what I want everyone to do is to treat yourself like your bestest friend that you wouldn't let down, because you wouldn't let your mate down. You wouldn't say you'll meet your friend at a restaurant, not turn up without any message or anything.
Especially if I've made reservations.
So you would never do it. So treat yourself like your very, very bestest friend. How can you make sure that you don't let yourself down? Now, that doesn't mean that forever you're going to set your alarm at 4:30, 5 o'clock and get up every morning at that time, because sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we need a break from the gym. Your body is telling you need a break, and you've got to listen to your body, but you're in control. So it might be, do you know what, on Saturday, I'm not going to put the alarm on. I'm going to have an alarm-free morning, but you're in control. It might be, I'm going to have a rest day from the gym. But you're making that choice of one day, you're in control. You're not letting yourself down. You're saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm in control. I'm making these decisions for me. It's when we promise ourselves we're going to do something and then don't do it that we start to lose trust and value in ourselves. Does that make sense?
It does indeed, yeah.
Any questions on anything that I've just said down?
I do not have any questions there. Does anyone in the chat have any questions?
I've got one more thing that I think really, really helps.
Okay.
That is a little toolkit for you to use
Okay, go for it.
about how to make decisions. Because when you look at people who are really, really living their life at that next level and they're taking that to that next step, they're really good decision makers.
I do see that about Beyonce.
Beyonce,
She is a great decision maker, yeah.
And one of the things we do at Brilliant Beyond Belief, we studied all the people that we've worked with, and there's some people that are living life at this energy level 10, really, really giving it all, super successful, and some people that stayed out there because it's safe, because they're fighting to fail. We talked earlier about those two biggest fears that we have when we're born, falling and loud noises, and how everything else is learned. As adults, our biggest fears, and it's quite, it's not funny, I shouldn't say it's funny, but it's eye-opening. Our biggest fear is the fear of failure. And if you think about how we've been brought up, we constantly, it's how good or right or smart you are, rather than what we've learned. So if I don't get 10 out of 10 on my spelling test,
everyone fears the red
they
pen.
do, that red pen. It's all about the teachers, blame the teacher, as she said.
Oh, I thought you were a teacher, oh my gosh.
I get it, but it's important. I think we need to know that if we could build our happiness around us as a learner, it doesn't matter if we make a mistake. Like I'll try to play a new instrument or try to play a new sport, even if I learn I don't ever want to do that again. I've learned something, So building our happiness around what we've learned and how much I've learned, rather than how good or right or smart I am, means that we can embrace failure.
That's a really great way to put it, yeah.
And the most successful people in the world are fantastic failures. They're happy to fail and fail and fail and fail, because each failure is a step nearer to success. It's like J.K. Rowling. How many times did she try to get her book published? 12 times she was told no. She could have given up easily. Now look at her and how successful she is. So fear of failure. Second is the fear of rejection. We don't want people to, it's people's opinions. What do people think of me? What if they won't like me? The third, what do you think that might be?
Maybe something to do with like public speaking.
You're absolutely right. Public speaking is third. And the fourth biggest fear is death. So people would rather be in the casket than actually doing a eulogy at somebody's funeral. Do you believe that?
We have a comment.
Okay.
And so Matt is that a company is making any definition. We have a family who regular income, can't use it as a risk. The only way to make things better is through change. I agree with what you are saying, and thank you for
No, that's lovely. Is there a question or a comment?
the comment.
Brilliant. But it is, and you know, you are in charge of your destiny. And I know sometimes that might look hard because you've got people that you're responsible for, and I've been there, still am there. But there are things that you can do on the side of that, with that, as well as that, where you can start to make those changes. And sometimes you just need that little bit of a push. And we're waiting there. We've got our parachute on. We're going, I want the parachute to open. You've got to jump. You don't want to jump because the parachute is not open. If you don't jump, the parachute doesn't open. So you trust yourself, believe in yourself. When you've got somebody that you're responsible for, you'll do what it takes to make it happen for them. That's certainly worked with me and lots of people that we work with. So I've done those bits about what we're scared of and why we don't. But for people who do really, really well, it's how to make decisions. And I don't know about you, but do you ever procrastinate over decisions?
I do indeed, yeah.
And I think if you can help people not procrastinate, it's a massive tool that we can take away. So we talked about how to change our state with the focus and the language.
Yeah.
Second one is decision making. And we studied this, and Jimmy Goldsmith, you ever heard of him?
Oh,
Okay, so he was the first ever British born billionaire in this country. And I mean real £1 billion in the bank.
oh,
Okay, absolutely. Now he people would bring him deals. He had a great team around him, and people said to him, "What is it that has made you so successful?" And he said, "You know what? It's the ability to make decisions. So if you want to do well in this world, the more difficult decisions you make and the bigger the problems you solve, the more you'll be paid. That's it. Because it's the responsibility, it's the weight. So how do you make decisions? And this isn't just career and business. This is in a whole life. How do you make decisions?"
Yeah.
So that's him. What do you do? He goes, "Well, I used to ask myself loads of questions, but now I only ask myself one question." So he was bought lots of deals. And he said, every day the business deal, I'd ask this one question. So in the next webinar, I'll take that.
what is it?
So the one question was, what's the downside? Can I handle the downside? Oh, can I handle the downside? So if this went wrong, can I handle it? So if he was bought a deal, right, and if the downside was he'd lose so much money, the whole business would go, there's no way. If the downside was he'd lose a little bit, but they'd be okay because of all this stuff, he'd take it. That was it. So can I handle the downside? So taking that out of the emotion, can I handle the downside? Really helps with decision making. Now we looked at that, and that gives you a risk assessment, yeah? Nothing, just a risk assessment. So I like it, but it wasn't quite enough. We did more research. And then we found, do you know someone called Bent Hunt Davies?
No, I do not.
So he was the coach of the British Olympic rowing championship team in Sydney Olympics.
I think I know about the story.
Yeah, I know that I've told you, or you've heard it before. And it was nearly 100 years since they'd won a medal, and they'd had different coaches, and nothing had happened. He was like, "Do you know what? I'm going to make this work." So he got the team, and he knew that there was a North Star. So they had a massive North Star. His North Star was, and everyone said it was impossible at the time, his North Star was, we're going to beat the world record in training. Because if you can beat the world record in training, you can do it on match day, you know, that without a shadow. But how do you get everyone on the same page? How do you get everybody aligned? So he had one question that everybody would ask themselves with every decision that they would make. So it would be, am I going to eat this? Or it would be, am I going to go to, what time am I going to go to sleep? Late or not late? Am I going to go on a date night with husband, wife, whatever? And this one question that he got everyone to ask was, will it make the boat go faster? Will it make the boat go faster? So if I eat this food and it was a bad food, that's not going to make the boat go faster.
No, not.
Okay, if I go to bed super late, is that going to make the boat go faster? Date night with husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, well, you could argue it make you feel better, so it might make the boat go faster. And everybody did that, and you know what? They smashed it. They got the world record. They got the gold. And in the interview after,
Will it make the boat go faster?
What was it?
Did it?
And it did make the boat go faster. And okay, you're thinking, how does that apply to me? But will it move the needle of my business? Will it move the needle of my career? Will it move my needle towards my North Star? And your North Star doesn't have to be a finance North Star. It could be a relationship North Star. It could be a health North Star. It could be an environment North Star. It could be a spirituality, a happiness North Star. We've all got, those are like the 5 areas in our lives, and you can have 5 North Stars if you want to for each of those areas. But is this decision going to move me closer to that? So say you've got a saving goal of your yacht, and you're like, so I get a Starbucks on the way home. What's the downside? Starbucks, it's not the downside of that. Not a massive downside, no. So you go to the next one. Will it move the needle of my saving goal? Not really. Now, one, you could argue, one a year, it's not going to make a difference. One a week, yeah. So you're not really sure on that one. So there is another one. And the third thing is, if it doesn't really, like say you're doing a Starbucks a day, we'll just say Starbucks today, any coffee from any retail place a day,
no advert.
that wouldn't move your needle, would it, towards your saving goal? Okay, but one, it's not going to make a massive difference. One every day. The next box is, what's the harder option? So what's the harder option, to have it or not have it? Not have it. Yeah, it is hard. It's like having a donut. Have the donut or not have the donut? Not. It is hard. Is it taking the lift, taking the stairs? Harder option, taking the stairs. So those are the little ones where there's no downside. It's not going to ruin you. Okay, it's not one-off. Me going up the stairs once or going up in the lift once. It's not going to really move the needle of my health score or anything. But what's the harder option? And those little harder options are what I call the inches. The marginal gains. We can all make tiny, tiny, tiny little changes every single day. And when they're stacked on top of each other, massive change. And that's what you look at athletes, all sporting stars. It's not that they suddenly go, oh, do this and you're going to win the gold. It's the tiny little things that you choose to do, those marginal gains.
That's what I got confused with there, because I've heard a similar story about an Olympic team, the Olympic cycling team.
Yeah.
Yes, where they made small changes to the bike, small changes to their eating habits.
Even taking their pillows. They used to take their pillows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with them.
They change their pillows.
So you have a pillow. I do. My pillow at home, it's my pillow, and it's perfect. And my pillowcase is like, it's beautiful for my hair and stuff like that. So they realised that if their athletes hadn't got their pillow with them, that makes
they
them
would change.
So they all would take their personal pillow with them, and that's something I will take my pillow and my pillowcase wherever I go when I'm traveling, because I know it makes me feel happier, better. My hair's always smoother. My pillowcase, things like that.
Yeah,
the tiny little things. Is it gonna the downside? It's not a massive downside. But it's those little marginal gains that make a difference. Yeah. And the harder thing, is it harder to take my pillow with me everywhere I go? Yeah, it is harder, but it does make a difference. Any other questions at all?
I don't have any questions. Are there any more questions in the chat from anyone? Or any questions from that side? Oh. No. That's great though. Thank you guys for joining. That's very great. Do you have anything else you want to share with us today?
The only thing I'll say is, you talked about earlier about how to, if all of our fears are there between the ages of 0 and 7, how you can change that. And I talked about the focus. So the focus was just at the tip of it, with the gratitude in the morning routine. Yeah. You need to think about the things. Everybody has a voice in their head, and it's imposter syndrome. And actually, the more successful you get, people don't realise this, the more imposter syndrome you have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it gets bigger and bigger.
Oh,
we've worked with some, we've worked with some incredibly successful people. Because I suppose you're like, who am I?
Isn't it proof? Like, once you have that proof of getting to that point? Ooh.
Not at all, because I think, I don't think people realise this, and I certainly didn't realise it as a child, and I tried to teach this to the kids in my school. The little voice that you had in your head when you were a child, that voice is still the same even as a grown-up. The voice doesn't change. You don't suddenly get to 45 and go, oh, got it now. I understand the world. It's a no-brainer. This is easy. It never feels like that. It's almost like, oh, I'm winging it. Like, someone's going to find me out. And even when I'd open the school, people used to say, oh, wow, you're so happy, you must be so successful. And inside I'd be thinking, no, I don't know what I'm doing. You
Am
know, it's like you panic that you don't really know, and you've got this huge imposter syndrome. So one of the first things is really accepting the fact that that is normal. Everybody feels like that. You look at anyone, whether they're a leader in your organisation, that if you ever seen a tapestry where it's beautiful on the outside, it looks stunning, you know, and you turn it around and it's knots and it's threads and it's real
Indeed,
mess. Everybody has got stuff going on. Everybody is going through stuff. And in our world today with social media, all we see is the shiny bits. You know, people have taken 20 times to get that photo, or they've even airbrushed it or whatever to look like that. Nobody posts up the rubbish that they're going through, or very rarely. And you've got to understand, everybody you come across has got stuff that you don't know going on. It's how we learn to deal with that, you know, the resilience of that, understanding it's not about how good or right or smart, it's what have I learned? How can I make sure it doesn't happen again tomorrow? How can I make sure that that difficult conversation that I had, like next time I'll go about it in a completely different way, that you're responsible, only you. Yeah, if you and that's a big thing. If I blame myself for everything, it sounds really tough, and no one likes to talk about blame. If I blame myself for everything, I'm in charge. So if I have an argument with my kids, it's my fault. If I'm struggling with something, it's my fault. What can I do to make that better? So that's something that I would really, really focus on. The second thing is, once you've accepted that there's that voice, is using the attitude of gratitude to go, do you know what? I know I'm feeling that, but I've got this to prove to me almost that I am okay, that I am good, that I can do this, that I've learned there and I've got better and I've got better. And then there are two words that are the most powerful words in the English dictionary, the English language. You know what they are?
No, I don't.
I am. I am. Most of the time people use the I am with, I am rubbish, I am a failure, yeah, I'm not worth it. We do, we constantly self-doubt all the time, negative talk to ourselves. So thinking of the thing you think a lot of yourself about, oh, I'm not worth it, or I can't be a good parent and work really, really hard, or I can't climb the career ladder, I'm too young, you know, whatever that is, it's turning it into an I am. So I am, and it's not arrogance. You know, Muhammad Ali, he had the greatest I am. It was, I am the greatest. He didn't start using that I am when he was a successful boxer. 8 years old and he said that. 8 years old, it was his mindset, I am the greatest. And someone said to him once, are you any good at golf? He went, yeah, I'm the greatest. He went, just haven't played it yet. You can imagine that, having that much self-belief. And then they went, it's not arrogant. Not if it's true. Right? And you might think, oh, that's arrogant. I couldn't be like that. Yeah. But you know the difference between arrogance and confidence? Arrogance is when you say something to put somebody else down. It's when I'm trying to make you feel rubbish to make me feel better. Confidence is when you really, really believe in yourself. You know, we talked about that identity,
The yacht man.
and people might say, if you start behaving like that, that's fake. You know, and you shouldn't be fake. It's having faith. So it's not faking it, it's faithing it until you make it, believing in yourself. Because just like the weight loss, if you genuinely believe that, you genuinely start to act like that person, you will have those results.
There you go.
But you've got to use that I am. So whatever it is, you know, I am, for me, I am the best business performance coach in the world. And that's not me trying to make, and I'm not trying to put anyone else down. That's for me, for my self-belief. And that is really important. So the way you talk to yourself when you're by yourself, about yourself, that's key.
Thank you very much, Penny.
No
Honestly,
worries.
I feel like I covered so much.
It's a lot.
It's amazing. Thank you.
One question. So when you're doing it, it is purely for
So
you.
the question there was, how to avoid comparison, or how to cope with comparisons?
Yeah, and it's a really good question. When you're talking about the I ams, it's for your confidence. So you're not thinking about anyone else. I think if you're thinking about anyone else, then you have got that trying to be more than someone. But how do you cope when you see somebody who's absolutely smashing it, and you're like, I want to be like that?
Yeah.
And how do you stop it from making you feel down about you? Is I want each and every one of you to surround yourself with people who are like that, people who are better than you. You know, that they're your circle, and you are the average of your 5 closest friends. If you actually look at that and who you hang out with, where are you? Surround yourself, find a circle of people who are going to really challenge you, who are better than you, that are a few steps ahead of you. And rather than changing that mentality, so rather than thinking down, being down about it and like, oh, and wanting that we talk about envy, instead going, I want to be like that. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to shadow you. I'm going to learn everything. When I work with young people in organisations, it's find somebody who's already doing it, shadow them. Be that annoying, asking every single question you can possibly ask about it, you know, and you'll learn brilliant things from them. You'll also learn things that you think, do you know, I wouldn't do it like that. And you learn how you're going to be even better. You've got to see it as a positive. And that goes back to happiness, self-esteem. It's not how good or right or smart you are. It's what have I learned? And if you do that, so your self-esteem, your happiness is embodied around me as a learner, then it's brilliant. Bring it on. I want to surround myself with people who are far better than me, so I'm learning from them. And it might be learning from books, it might be learning from podcasts. You might not be able to be right in their circle, but you can be in their circle because you're listening to their voices or hearing or reading their words. And that's books and podcasts. These are people that have been alive 30, 40, 50 years, giving you all their gems in an hour or 2 hours. And that's beautiful. That's why uber successful people learn as much from everybody they possibly can. So see it as a positive, not as a negative.
I have a bit of a question
Yeah.
off of that, just to wrap things up. For goal setting, for like reaching your goals, for getting better as a person, could you recommend us 3 books?
Oh, 3 books.
Could you recommend us 3 podcasts?
Okay, so bear in mind mine's very business focused in my head. So 10x is easier than 2x.
Okay.
Really good book.
Imagine they'll pop up here somewhere.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah,
Fantastic book. And for me, and I think this is a perfect, oh my gosh, is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, because that's all about, and she's good. She's
great.
online. She's got her own social media stuff. Follow her. She's got some brilliant gems.
The podcast is also very good.
Very, very good. You can when you want to do something and you think, right, I'm going to do that, then your voice will try to your head tries to talk you out of it within 5 seconds, because it's trying to keep you safe. That inner voice that comes out, oh, don't do that. You know, it's because they don't want to get you to get hurt. And that's why friends and family say, don't do that. Stay where you are, because they don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to change too much, because if you change too much, you might not like them anymore. And that's their fear.
So true.
So the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins is where you think something and you just start acting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're acting before it's down, and you're doing it. That can be answering a question, and say you're in a meeting at work and you've got an answer, but you think, your head's going, somebody might think that's rubbish, or they might laugh at me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you say it anyway. And I guarantee you'll make huge progress acting like that. So those are my 3 books. Podcast Diary of a CEO, I really like. Mel Robbins's podcast. There's another one, but I can't remember, so I'll have to tell you afterwards, but it's about finance and investment and saving. So I'll find it for you. And that's something, again, financial intelligence, FI. We need to be learning that about compounding, about what our savings can do for us. For the earlier you can start saving and investing for you, the easier your future. And that's obviously plain saver. That is key.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
No problem at all. Thank you.
I've learned so much, and I hope everybody watching has learned something as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
No problem at all. And any questions, I'm sure you can send my details. But if anyone has got a question they haven't had answered, or you hear this later and you'd like to ask a question, feel free to contact me or follow me on socials.
Yeah, did you want to tell us where to find you?
If I can't remember what they are, it's Penny R Ford on Insta and LinkedIn. Penny Ford, you'll see me. Yeah, we'll put it on there. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.